Okay, human development begins long before a child takes their first steps. During the first 1,000 days of life, the brain, the nervous system, and the body experience one of the most critical periods of the biological plasticity. Every moment, every interaction, and every environmental stimulus contributes to shaping the foundations of health, regulation of movement. Hello everyone, I'm here again. I hope that you remember me. I'm Santiago, and I'm gonna present you my research proposal that titled Parental Skills and Their Impact on Motor Development and Body Regulation During the First 1,000 Days of Life, a literature review from a physiotherapeutic perspective. Okay, we need to understand one thing, is that the first 1,000 days of life are one of the most critical period to the biological and the nervous system plasticity that depends directly on the environment, the stimulation, and the interaction with it. But however, modern parenting practices increasingly restrict the spontaneous movement through excessive restrictions of the movement with walkers, home knocks, and electronic devices like cell phones, tablets, TVs, and computers. Um, but in Colombia, this issue becomes even more critical that when the postpartum follow-up programs that often ignore the movement quality and environmental influences more development. Therefore, this research seeks to answer the following question. That's it. What is the available scientific evidence relating to the influence of parental skills and the physical environment on neurological and motor development during the first 1,000 days from a parenting physiotherapeutic perspective? I'm gonna show you the objectives, the general and the three specifics that I have in this research proposal. As is, the general one is to map the available scientific evidence relating the influence of parenting skills and the physical, environmental, on neurological and motor development during the first 1,000 days of life. And we have three specific objectives. That the first one is to identify the neurological concepts and theoretical frameworks supporting the relationship between a caregiver handling and infant bodily regulation during early childhood. The second is to categorize the environmental facilitators and barriers that influence infant motor trajectories and metabolic health according to current scientific evidence. And finally, to synthesize preventive physiotherapy strategies focused on parental empowerment, motor literacy, and the promotion of health development environment. I know that you have a question, and I'm gonna answer that. Obviously, I have a theoretical framework that this proposal is based on the motor development is not limited to the chronological milestones like crawling or walking, right? Instead, the movement acts as the main organizer of neurocognitive, metabolic, and autonomic development. The scientific evidence suggests that the spontaneous movement and postural freedom are essential to the sensory integration, proprioceptive feedbacks, and the development of body self-regulation. For our children, the parental skills function as the primary environmental filter to the neurodevelopment. The caregivers who promote movement exploration, emotional bonding, and responsive interaction contribute positively to the neural organization and the physiological adaptive physiological responses. Conversely, restrictive environments may do an interference to the stress regulation, autonomic nervous system modulation, and long-term metabolic health with the activation of HPA axis. From the physiotherapy, this perspective supports on the paradigm shift from rehabilitation toward the prevention and the family-centered education. This research is proposed as a scoping review that based on the PCC framework. What is PCC framework? Population, concept, and context. And is a systematic search will be conducted in databases including PubMed, Scopus, Web of Science, and Cielo. The strategy will be combine mesh and text descriptors related to the motor development, parental skills, physiotherapy, and early childhood development. Quantitative, qualitative, and review studies published between 2018 and 2025 in English and Spanish will be included. Finally, the evidence will be analyzed to identify modifiable environmental and parental factors influencing early neurodevelopment. And according to a resolution 8430 and 1993 of the Colombian Ministry of Health, this study classified as a risk-free investigation because it's based exclusively on literature review. Nevertheless, principles of scientific integrity, methodological transparency, and responsive use information will be strictly respected through the research process. Understanding that the first 1,000 days means understanding the origins of human development beyond physical growth. These stages shape emotional regulation, movement, quality, metabolic health, and the relationship between the child and environmental. From the physiotherapy, empowering family and promoting postural freedom may become one of the most powerful preventive health strategies for the future generations. Thank you. And the references you can search my references here. Thanks.